Alright, Math 3, polynomial graphing practice. So we just got a few problems to help us with all these features of functions that we've been dealing with. Now, if you're not sure what you're doing, take a look at the notes video first. That'll help out a lot, and make sure you're ready to do this. So go do that first if you haven't done this already, and then try these problems out first, and then use this video to kind of help check. Okay? Alright, so starting off, there's a few different ways we can take a look at this, but I like to start off with my end behavior actually. So as I go to the right, I see I'm going down, so remember we write at the limit as x approaches infinity. As it goes to the right, that's this guy, our function is going down to negative infinity. Okay? And as we go to the left, we're going up. Okay? So the limit as x approaches negative infinity, as we go to the left, r is going up to positive infinity. Alright, that tells me that I've got an odd degree here, and also that I have a negative coefficient, which, if I'm trying to make the equation, is very helpful. Now, it's odd, and if I look at my zeros, right, where our x-intercepts are, we can see that they all cross pretty cleanly, so I don't have any multiplicity problems here. But I've got 3 of them, so I know I have a third degree polynomial with x-intercepts of negative 4, 0, negative 3, 0, and 3, 0. Okay, for a y-intercept, it looks like I'm about at 3.5, so 0, 3.5. Okay, we can see we have a maximum and a minimum. So that minimum looks like it's in between, so negative 3.5. And probably about like 0.25, negative 0.25. It's a pretty small one. And my maximum will kind of estimate it just at 1, 4. I'm fine if you estimate on these. Okay. So now I've dealt with all my points. So now we've got to deal with the intervals, don't we? So increasing and decreasing. So remember, we start here left to right. So I start at negative infinity, and it's going down till I hit that minimum. So decreasing from, we use a parentheses for infinities, so negative infinity until we hit about that negative 3.5. Okay. Then it's going to skip and we'll increase from that negative 3.5, because remember, we're only dealing with the x variables for our intervals, till we hit about 1. Okay. Then we start decreasing again, so we jump, and we're decreasing from 1 till positive infinity. Okay. Now with positive and negative, remember positive is above, negative below, and we don't really care about these zeros. Or I guess it does come right there, doesn't it? So we're positive, we start at negative infinity, make that a parentheses, until we get to that negative 4. Then we jump, and we start at negative 3 until we get to 1. Or no, until we get to 3, huh? Just mixing things up here. So negative, we kind of go on the in-between part, right? We're negative right there. So negative 4 to negative 3, and then it jumps, and then from 3 on to positive infinity, we're also negative. Okay? And that's what the key features of our first one should look like. Alright, now I'll take a look at the next problem. Okay, so this one we can see they're both going down, which tells me it's even, and also negative for my degree. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, so I know it's a fourth degree. My zeros are negative 4, 0, negative 3, 0, positive 3, 0, and positive 4, 0. Looks like our y-intercept is about 0, negative 8.5. Okay, which that is also our minimum, isn't it? 0, negative 8.5. Okay, so our maximums are kind of in between here. So about a negative 3 and we'll say 0.75, and a positive 3 and 0.75. Now, we're taking a look at our positive and negative. So it's positive just from x-intercept to x-intercept. right? So positive would be we start at -4 to -3, then it jumps +3 to +4. So for negative, it's everywhere in between. We start at -infinity to -4, then it jumps from -3 to +3 right here. Then it jumps from, and I'll do it right down here, +4 to infinity right here. Now for increasing and decreasing, okay, increasing, we start till we hit that maximum. So I'd start at -infinity until I hit that maximum, which we said was about -3.5, although it should have been 0.5s, huh? Okay, then it decreases till we hit our minimum. Okay, so it's decreasing from -3.5 to 0, because we're talking about x values. Okay, then it jumps and we're increasing from 0 to +3.5, so right here, and then we're decreasing again, so it jumps from 3.5 to +infinity. Now for our end behavior, remember another way we can write it is as x approaches infinity or as x approaches -infinity. As we go right, as we go left, both of these, our y values are going down, aren't they? So they're both going to -infinity. Okay? So that's how our second problem should have looked. Alright, let's take a look at the last two problems now. Here we are. So now I can see both are going up. That tells me it's an even degree and it's a positive coefficient. Okay? So why don't we start with the intervals this time? Well, actually, it's really helpful to, yeah, we can. So decreasing, I go down here to the minimum. Okay, so we start at -infinity, and I go to about, we'll say, -1.5. Okay, so that tells me I have a minimum, right, at -1.5, and then about -0.5. Then we increase, so we go from -1.5 to, and that should be a bracket, to, we'll call that 1.5. So we have a maximum at 0.5, right? So at 0.5, and we'll say about 2.25. Alright, then we decrease again till we hit down here. So we jump and we go from 0.5 until we get to, we'll call that 4.5. So we have another minimum at 4.5 until we hit and about -9.5. Okay, then we're increasing again. Oops, I meant that to be red. Increasing from, so we jump from 4.5 until we get to +infinity. So you can see that increasing and decreasing are connected to maximums and minimums, okay, the relative ones, because those are when they're going to change from increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing. Now let's look at positive and negative. So we start positive till we hit an x-axis. So we start at -infinity until we hit -2. Okay, so there's an x-intercept, -2, 0. Then we go negative from -2 to -1. Okay, so there's another x-intercept, -1, 0. Then we go positive again. So we jump here and we go from -1 to +2 to another x-intercept, so 2, 0. Then we go negative again from 2 to 6, okay, which is our last x-intercept, 6, 0. And then we go from 6 to +infinity for positive. Okay, so we can see that the positive and negative are connected to the x-intercepts. Okay. Now, none of these bounce or touch, and none of them have a very flat thing, and so our degree is going to be a fourth degree because we have 4 zeros. Okay, y-intercept of about 0, 1.75. Okay, then for our end behavior, the limit as x approaches positive infinity, our function is going up to positive infinity. And as we go left, limit as we approach negative infinity of our function, it goes left. And there we go. Okay, so number 7, okay, we can see as we go to the right, we're going up. So the limit as x approaches positive infinity, our function is going up to positive infinity. And as we go left down, so this tells me it's an odd. So the limit as x approaches negative infinity, our function goes down. It's an odd with a positive coefficient. So I know my degree is going to be odd, so let's see what degree it would be. Now, I have a 0 here at -1, 0. Notice that it bounces, so I'm going to have that with a multiplicity of 2. Okay, so we start out negative, don't we, from negative infinity, because as we go left, we go to negative infinity, up until we get to -1. Actually, then we bounce off of that and go up till we get to 4, don't we? So we'll just say to 4. Okay. Then, so that means we have a x-intercept at 4, 0. Okay. And we're positive from 4 to positive infinity, because we go to the right, we go to positive infinity. Now, notice that it kind of flattens there, so that tells me I have a multiplicity of more than 1, but it's not even, so it's going to be another odd. Then 2 and 3 give us 5. It's a 5th degree polynomial. Okay, y-intercept, pretty easy to see, that's at 0, -3. Then we can take a look at increasing and decreasing, or our maximum and minimum. So maximum here at that x-intercept, so -1, 0, which means I start out increasing from negative infinity until I hit -1. Okay, then I'm going to decrease down to our minimum here. So we have a minimum here at, looks like, -1, -5.5. So I decrease from -1 to +1. Okay, then we're going to be increasing the rest of the way. So we jump from +1 to positive infinity. Okay, and there we go, guys. So there's everything we got going on with this. So hopefully with all those key features that we have a pretty good idea of how to deal with them and how to write them, how they're all connected. How degree is end behavior and zeros, that's connected. That zeros are connected with our positives and negatives, and that our relative minimums and maximums are connected to increasing and decreasing. And then we just have this kind of loner y-intercept that really doesn't help us a whole lot. But there we go, guys.